If you want to see how I can change this arrangement here, which is an L shape, into an asymmetrical triangle, then keep watching today's tutorial to learn another exciting design. So welcome back. I'm going to extend the design to create an asymmetric triangle. And by that, I mean we're going to make a design that's fuller on one side, still shorter on the other, but instead of having that solid L shape, I'm going to fill in this area to extend it to create an unbalanced triangle. And I quite often think, if you look at the sails on a yacht, they are more often than not one-sided. The triangle isn't symmetrical. If we do a symmetrical arrangement and you draw a line down through the centre, an arrangement is balanced on both sides. So an asymmetric triangle means there is more flowers on one side of the arrangement and it's shorter on the opposite. What I'm going to do first is just remove a small amount of the greenery here on one side, because I'm going to extend that a little bit longer, and I'm also going to remove the smaller flowers here in this middle section. If we just look in the overhead camera, I just want to get some of the foliage and the flowers out of that area there, so that I have space within my foam to extend this side of the arrangement out. Now, if I was making this from the start, then I would use half a block of foam to create it. But I really wanted to explain to you the difference between the two types of designs. So for those of you that are experienced flower arrangers, please don't make any comment that there's already holes in my foam. I know there's holes in my foam. This is just for education purposes, and it makes it easier for me to explain. So what I need to do is extend the width out here slightly at the bottom. And if you imagine a line being drawn from the top here to the bottom, all the way along like that, I'm going to fill this area in to make a triangle. And that's what we're going to do first. I'm going to fill that area in to make an unbalanced triangle. So what I'm going to do first of all is use some more of the bay foliage. So that's what I've used in the rest of the arrangement, to really draw a sort of line from this top section down. So let's sort of roughly estimate where we're going to go. So imagine a line being drawn up and down. That's probably a little bit too long. And what I'm doing here is I'm backing the foam. Let's get that in a position. Oh, it's being stubborn now. It doesn't want to go where I want it to go. And what I've done here is I'm backing the foam, still leaving a gap there in the centre for me to put more fresh flowers and more foliages. And then I need to extend the height in this section here, and I'm hoping that I've got a piece of bay that's going to be the right height. If not, I've got Conifer ready to use as well. So if you're making one of these at home, what you want to do is create the outline first. Now, I've already done that L shape, and I think that this is more of a visual representation of the difference between the two designs. If you were making this from scratch, you would put the outline shape in first. I'm also going to remove this one because it's a little bit long. And because I've got Conifer in the rest of the arrangement, I'm also going to put the Conifer towards the back. And what this is going to do, it gives a lovely contrast in texture. The bay is quite flat, and this is a fussier greenery. It's got more texture to it, and it's going to add a nice contrast into the arrangement. And hopefully now when I turn it round, you'll see that it's a mass design. It doesn't have that L shape, or we're trying to lose that L shape coming down the middle. And then I'm going to do a similar method on the shorter side. I'm just going to extend this out a little bit more to make it longer, so that instead of having that very severe right angle like we had in the first arrangement, I've now got more of a triangular shape. And I'm going to do the same method, just extend the height slightly. And if you haven't watched an arrangement with me before, if this is the first time you're joining me, then welcome. My name's Sharon. There are loads of tutorial videos here on the channel, and if there's anything that you would like me to teach you, then add a list to the comment box. I'm slowly working through a list that I've been given from previous months. But if you haven't watched a tutorial with me before, then what I tend to do is encourage you to create an outline shape first. So if it's a geometric style arrangement, if it's a triangle, an L shape, a crescent, a line, anything that has a clear outline shape, we're going to get that shape in first before we start, and then you just literally fill in between. And if you're new to floral design, it's a really easy way to work. Once the shape is in, you just fill in the middle. So that greenery has taken me from that L to now an asymmetrical or unbalanced triangle. Now what we're going to do is fill in with some more flowers that match everything we have in the centre. This one is a fantastic spray carnation. We can add a little bit of height, and I can extend the width on this side here. I've created the outline with the greenery, so now I know how wide the design needs to be, and this really unusual sort of dusky peachy pink spray carnation needs to be added in this section here, so we've got that nice continuity of colours, shapes and textures. What I'm going to do with this one is just take off one of the heads because it's a little heavy on the top. But I'm aiming now to come back in my floral foam. It's almost like creating the back of the arrangement. I don't want to place them too matching at the back because they're almost going to look like soldiers standing in a line. So I need to bring them forward and backwards in the foam. Instead of lining them up at the back of the foam, bring them in and out so we get those different positions and create that three-dimensional effect. And then I'm just going to bring a couple forward, angling them in the foam so that I'm really exaggerating that asymmetrical shape. And I know when you're starting in floral design, I've been there. It was a long time ago, but I've been there. I know how difficult it is to understand shapes and styles. And if these formal patterns aren't your style, if you don't like these very strong geometric outline shapes, just go for something that's softer and has a more countryside feel. But the idea of this YouTube channel is that I teach you all the different shapes. I'm not too keen on these two here because they're a bit too close together, so I'm going to remove one of the heads. Now if you're training in college or you're training in any formal establishment, you will learn to do all these geometric shapes. If you're just learning one particular style, which is quite trendy at the moment, maybe you want to be a wedding florist and you just want to provide flowers of one style, then you might find this a bit old-fashioned. It is a design that's been around for a long time, but it's still a valuable design for florists that work in a shop, a good commercial design. And it's also a great style if you're doing church flowers or you find it beneficial for your mental health to sit and arrange flowers to relax and calm your nerves. Now the focal line in this arrangement, the most dominant line is the cerise colour of the rose. So I need now to bring some onto the shorter side of my arrangement. So I'm going to use this little one here on the opposite side, and that straight away brings in that cerise colour. And then we need to add the same cerise colour into this section here. So I'm going from that more severe line to a more massed design. I'm spreading out the colour and textures. And I think that two of this beautiful rose is going to work just right. Now this is Takasi, this rose here. And as it opens, it's a softer pink. It's really quite pretty. And I'm just contemplating in which position the darker colour needs to go, and I'm going to place it more towards the back. Let's just cut that a bit shorter. Now for some reason the leaves on this one are looking a bit floppy, so we're going to remove them all. It might be because I've had it out of water a little while I've been setting up the camera. But what I want to do here is just really complete that outline by bringing a bit of the darker pink towards the back. And I'm hoping that you can see we've gone from that L shape to a triangle shape quite quickly. And you can make that unbalanced triangle as tall or as wide as you want it to go, as long as it's longer on one side. That's the aim of what we're doing. So let's add in some of the ranunculus just so that we fill in and we bring this colour all the way through the arrangement as well. So we need a little one on the shorter side, the left side as I'm working on it. Now, Ranunculus is a soft stem flower, so if you're arranging them into foam, you need to cut them straight across, not at an angle, which is what we normally do with a woody stem. And if you feel that the ends are too soft, you can insert a little cocktail stick or a florist wire into the base, and that will give it some extra added strength. The Ranunculus is really good quality at the moment. It's in its proper season, so the strength of the stem is fairly good. But in the summer months, we can still get Ranunculus imported from abroad, but the stems tend to be a little softer and not quite so strong. And it might be that occasion where you need to give them that support underneath with a wire or a cocktail stick. Now, what I'm unhappy about on the position of the Ranunculus there at the front is that I have these three almost in the line right across the centre of my arrangement. So what I'm going to do is remove this one and place it a little lower down. So instead of having that really strong horizontal line across the middle, I've now got a little bit of up and down movement, which is softer and more pleasant to look at. And just behind this lovely pink rose here, I'm going to put a Ranunculus, and I've got a nice tall stem one there. That'll fit in the gap. Now, traditionally in an arrangement like this, the smaller flowers start at the top and they become larger as you come down towards the focal point, and then as you recede away they become slightly smaller. And I happen to have one little Ranunculus left, and what I'm going to do here is just remove a carnation, get this rose a little bit higher up, and then place that Ranunculus underneath. It's a small-headed one, so it's going to suit the base of the arrangement, and it's going to tuck in beautifully underneath that little rose. Just need to fiddle with it until it's in the right position. Now again, if I step back and have a look at the arrangement, I've now got quite a strong line of the pink rose across the front. So I'm going to lower this one down slightly. In fact, I'm going to swap it. I'm going to swap it with that one. And I don't get that really visual line across the front, which we can have when it's an L-shape arrangement, because we are trying to create that focal line. But in this style of arrangement, I want the colour combinations a little bit more arranged in a bit of a softer manner so that the lines aren't quite so severe. Now, I do have a small Ranunculus that I took out from that first arrangement, and I'm just going to place him in the middle. This helps to create recession. It also helps to cover the floral foam. A lot of people think that cutting the flowers down short is wasting them because you can't see them, but it gives you all those different levels in an arrangement, which is really important. We don't want that design to be flat and all the flowers at the same level. Now, the area that I think needs working on is this part here. I just think we need some more of that spray carnation out at the side. The greenery here is quite heavy, but I don't have any colour of the flowers. I think if I had some more spray carnations that were longer, I've only got some short stemmed ones left, I would maybe extend the colour on this side here. If you haven't done this style of arranging before, what you can think about is create your height, roughly work out where half of that height is to create your longer side, then cut that measurement in half to create your shorter side, and you get a fairly pleasant asymmetrical triangle to look at. If you're not very good with measurements, some of you I know like to work from a measurement and calculate exactly how long your arrangement is going to be. Some of you like to work a little bit more by eye and are more confident to play around with the measurements. All you really need to do is make sure that one side of the arrangement is longer than the opposite side and the height is taller to create that triangle shape. Now, at the beginning, I took out some of the lovely Loafer Myrtus. That I'm going to use back in the arrangement just to bring that colour back onto one side. If I'm teaching here in the studio, I tend to draw a line from the top to the bottom, and then you can see if you've lost the shape. And I'm also going to add in an extra piece of the wonderful pink Pussy Willow, because that is going to make the asymmetrical, unbalanced look clearer to see. And I'm going to add in some extra pieces of the foliage. Again, I've made a bigger design, so I need to add in some extra pieces just to spread that colour to both sides of the arrangement itself. So I don't have to worry about filling in the back of the arrangement because I did it at the very beginning when this was originally an L shape. but I do need to make sure that the outline shape is really clear. I'm hoping that that's given you an understanding of the difference between an L-shape arrangement and an asymmetrical triangle. Don't forget you can ask as many questions as you want in the comment box. If you stay to the end of the video, you can see close-ups of all the flowers and the finished design. And it shows YouTube that you're loving the tutorials. So thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.